really, who turned the match on its head against the champions Bradford on Monday. And just a few yards down the corridor, Leeds, beaten by 12-man St Helens on Monday, beaten by Sheffield at Headingley on Friday. They now need a point at Central Park, and Central Park is a bogey ground for them. But Dean Bell very confident that his men can come to Central Park and win. Great spirit in that Leeds dressing room. Dean Bell, of course, for so many years, a great player here at Central Park, former Wigan captain. They're all just about ready now to emerge, led by Wayne Collins, their captain. Adrian Morley, Steve-O picked him out as being a key man. Paul Sterling, Anthony Farrell playing at prop, Andy Hay. Good side this on its day, and they have brought supporters across the Pennines to see whether they can turn recent history on its head. Dean Bell taking his place in the stand, a big favourite here, a man who led this club majestically during his playing career, but now he's here in the opposing camp as the Leeds coach. Leeds have won just one in the last 5 since their impressive victory over Adelaide in the World Club Championship. 4 defeats and a draw at Castleford on their travels. Since reintroduction of 2 divisions in '73, Leeds have only claimed 3 victories here. They lost 16-17 at Headingley in April. Andy Farrell's drop goal, and there he is. It was absolutely crucial. Wigan, they've won the last 2 in Super League against Oldham and famously against the Bradford Bulls. Are they peaking at just the right time to claim a home tie in the quarter-final of the Premiership, a competition that they have dominated over the past 3 years? Led out by the Warrior, Andy Farrell leads his men into this, their final Super League match of the season at Central Park. It's been a strange sort of season for Wigan. They have lost 8 times. It's almost unheard of in recent history. 5 tries against the Bulls on Monday. They're the second best scorers in Super League, and defence is also joint second best too with London. They've scored over 100 points in completing the double against Leeds last year. 40 points to 20 at Headingley, 68-14 here. And Jason Robinson, the top meter gainer. He's the fullback, and, well, will we ever forget the day that he scored 5 tries against Leeds? Leeds certainly won't. And he and Andy Farrell turned the game around against Bradford when they were 18-0 in arrears. 2 champion players in a team of former champions. Match referee is Stuart Cummings. We haven't seen Stuart on Sky for quite some time, but he's back now. He's here at Central Park. And it's a very important game for both these clubs. Top 4 place is at stake. An epic win for Wigan then at Bradford on Monday. The victory and wins at St Helens, London and Canterbury in the World Club Championship home and away confirm the view that on the day Wigan are a match for anyone. Dean Bell is now seated in the stand, looking a little pensive, just wondering what the next 80 minutes has in store for his men. Stuart Cummings blows the whistle. Henry Paul kicks the football. Leeds will have first use of it, and this is Andy Hay, and that's the first collision of this battle royal, and a battle royal we all think it will be. Eric Hughes, the Wigan coach, it's been a traumatic season for him. Terry Newton disappears under the challenge of Andy Farrell. Collins was the dummy half. This now is Jamie Field, an academy international, has played prop forward before. Anthony Farrell, though, I can't remember him playing prop forward, and we believe that he has never played in the front row before. Newton now to the halfway line for the Leeds Rhinos.
That's going to be a big problem for the Leeds, the front row, but I'm sure that their coach Dean Bell will have devised the tactics. No point in trying to play it down the middle, keep the ball alive. The one good thing about the Leeds pack is that it will be extremely mobile. They'll go the full 80.
Good work from Iestyn Harris at the marker position, hauling down Ellison. This now is Robinson. Rivette is there, and so too was the number 19 Dean Lawford. head-to-head between these two, and Wigan have massive ascendancy over 47 games. And look how it shapes up here at Central Park. 23 games played, 20 Wigan wins. If Leeds are to claim a place in the top four, they really have to turn history on its head.
Well, if they use defence like that from the centre, Phil Hassan on Neil Cowie, it was an excellent low tackle.
Henry Paul, good defence from him, forcing Damien Gibson to his knees. This now is Paul Sterling. Leeds last one here, 19-0 in 1991. It was a famous night. Will this be another for them? Collins to Farrell. Farrell carts it up, but greeted by the tackler, Cowie. And also in there as well was John Clark. Now Adrian Morley. Little gap opens up for Morley. He makes it to the 40-metre line. 4 tackles gone. Harris taking over, dictating the pattern of play, giving it to Andy Hay. And Hay saw a little gap.
Well, the idea was there from Justin Harris going across the face of the Wigan defence, but there was no runners at all.
High-handed kick, high kick. Robinson, though, under no sort of pressure, just slipping on the surface.
Perfect take, good position. Plenty of people around to help him and shield him. So the tactics are quite clear now from Leeds. They'll play tough and then try to use the kick high. Good work from Cowie.
He scored a fabulous try against Bradford on Monday, Neil Cowie. Very much back in the fold after being sent home from the World Club Championship in Australia after he missed a training session. Clark, dummy half, the hooker. 4th hooker to be used at Central Park this year. Mick Cassidy is another of them. The referee has stopped the clock because Terry Newton has blood streaming from her face.
Good tackle there by Jamie Field. No way through for Cassidy. This is Terry Newton, the loose forward.
So he goes into the blood bin.
Got a real crack on the nose.
And the first chance we get to look at Darren Fleary, the young man who was brought to Headingley from Keighley. An audacious raid, really, by Gary Hetherington. He picked up 9 players from the Keighley Cougars. And Fleary and Phil Cantillon, who is still on the bench, are just 2 of them. They're involved, though, here tonight. Gibson collects the kick downfield. He gives it to Rivette. Cassidy gets to him.
Not the best kick there by Andrew Farrell. It was right down the throat of the fullback, Damien Gibson. I'm sure what he wanted to do was to turn the fullback around. He failed to do that.
Now Hassan again, former Wigan St Patrick's amateur from the local amateur club here in the town of Wigan. One then who escaped Central Park. This is Jamie Field. 4 minutes of the match gone. 0-0. Good start from these two. Harris misses out Morley and finds Hay. Good run from Hay. Tried to keep the ball alive, and all he did in the end was give it to Tony Smith.
Good defence by Simon Horton, ball and all there. They could see that Hay was twisting in the tackle, trying to offload. And as soon as he twisted, crunch. Simon Horton, big hit. Oh, that's pretty high from Morley.
On Mick Cassidy. Cassidy, though, just looks at the referee, Stuart Cummins, with his arms out wide. But this now is Radlinski. Radlinski makes a break. Smith is there. That's a good tackle. That's a terrific tackle in the end, and it was Dean Lawford who got to him. But Wigan aren't done. This is Paul. Paul cuts inside Gibson. Brilliant try from Henry Paul. Fabulous try from Paul. He cut Damien Gibson up, came back on the inside, and scampered over the line.
Beautiful break. It was all created by Paul. Superb pass on to Redlinski. Back on the inside. Lawford did well. Cut down the man there, Tony Smith. But the jinking run shows the dummy. They were caught there. They really took the dummy from the big fella. But the pass that sent Redlinski in to put Paul over the top, you cannot afford to do that. You must go low on a man with so much skill. They failed to go low. This is the break. Look at Redlinski there. back on the inside. What a tremendous tackle by Lawford. But Captain Marvel sends this man away. Not the best attempt by Gibson, the fullback. What a start.
Henry Paul with the try then. New Zealand international. Memorable try against Bradford on Monday. Only 2 tries before tonight. That's his 3rd. And they've all come recently too. Farrell with the conversion attempt. He misses it though. Slides at the wrong side of the posts. Wigan 4, Leeds 0.
Shall the defence out wide? They go far too quick. Look at the huge gap. Superb pass. Just sucks in the man. Redlinski. Tremendous play from both sides. Lawford's tackle. But from there on in, they were all going to catch Leeds out wide. They were at 6s and 7s. You cannot afford to go high on Paul. And Leeds have suffered the consequences.
So first try of the match, Wigan 4-0. Leeds in possession though with Collins leading the side in the absence of Gary Mercer, the Leeds hooker. Dummy half was Lawford. He gives it then to Jamie Field. Good tackling though by Cassidy. Bloodbin's been reversed. Terry Newton's come back on. There he is with the ball now. And he gets the pass away to Morley. But that's good stuff from Andy Johnson and Gary Connolly. Here's Newton again. Last tackle here for Leeds. Kick over the top. Robinson had positioned himself. Picks it up 10 metres from his own line. Scampers away. Just hauled back by the collar.
Oh, they're in the mood, Wigan. They really are up for this one. They are playing the ball quickly. They're working hard for each other. And when you get the fullback like Jason Robinson coming and taking the pressure off, Leeds could be looking down the barrel of a heavy defeat here if they don't get their defence sorted out quickly.
John Clark at dummy half, spins it to Smith, who finds Paul, who finds Farrell, and he gives it then to Cassidy. Newton and Collins in quickly with the tackle. Now Cowie again, trying to outmuscle them up the middle. Flicks the ball out as he goes down. Smith picks up the pieces, and Tony Smith was almost through, but a good job on him by Dean Lawford. Now Paul and Farrell again. He looks out wide. He looks for the runner out wide, but the fullback Gibson claims the ball brilliantly.
Beautiful run by Smith, but well spotted by Dean Lawford. Yet again, he comes to the rescue. He's in the sweeping position, Lawford, the little halfback. What a battle this will be. Dean Lawford, Tony Smith.
This, meanwhile, is Leroy Rivette, the winger. A try against St Helens on Monday. And he really is highly thought of by Dean Bell. Adrian Morley disappears under that particular challenge. That's Collins, and this now is Harris. Harris then to Hassan. Good defence from Wigan again. They certainly have got themselves sorted out in that department early on here. The kick downfield from Lawford, and Johnson saw that that was going to go arrowing towards the touchline, so he moved back and positioned himself well.
Not the best kick though by the little halfback Dean Lawford. Right down the throat of Andrew Johnson, when really it should have been trying to dissect the winger and the fullback. They've got to try to keep turning Wigan around. They're failing to do that. That means that Wigan are getting the momentum.
This is Clark, and he finds Hansen. Hansen, big Tongan international during the World Cup. He gets the ball almost to the halfway line. Paul to Farrell. Farrell grounded on halfway. The tackle originally by Harris, finished off by Sterling. Now it's Henry Paul. Good ball to Robinson. Good tackle by Andy Hay. It's the last. Clark at dummy half. This is Paul. He just clips one over the top, and there's some speed arriving here at Linsky, but he was called then by Stuart Cummings and told to stay out of it until now.
Good kick and chase though. Oh, Paul went round the side. You must stand square. Neat little kick over the top. I mentioned the fact that you try to dissect the... You see how he moved away far too quickly, both Redlinski and Paul. You must stand square. They failed to do that.
Mind you, there was no one in at dummy half, was there, for Leeds? And I think Henry Paul was sniffing the opportunity of a take then. So you've got to stand square to begin with.
What a start, though, by Henry Paul. We've been quite critical of the New Zealander throughout this season. It's only just lately that he really has got back to his best form. Tremendous second half against Bradford, of course, last Monday.
Now Harris, Morley, two bright young things there, Harris and Morley, and that's Harris at dummy half.
Talking of bright, Morley was bright enough to just duck under the attack from Tony Smith. It was a high shot, swinging arm.
Angle kick from Lawford, but it's easy for Robinson. Newton was running from in front of the kicker, so he had to give Robinson the 10.
Good refereeing there by Stuart Cummings. Created no chance of any confusion there. As soon as the high kick went up, nearly all the Leeds players went in front. He says keep away, give him the 10. Nice to see the referees keeping a good control of that.
Almost 12 minutes gone. A rigorous opening to this match. Wigan with just the one try, that belonging to Henry Paul. Clark, dummy half. Smith and Farrell is the runner. He has had a wonderful season, the Wigan captain.
Sure has, and Leeds defence has to be pretty strong to make sure that Farrell does not take control of this game.
Connolly to Farrell again. Involved in everything, Farrell, because of course he is the tactical kicker as well as everything else, as well as the captain who dictates the pattern of play. That's a good run though from Gibson until he met the tongue and wall of Lee Hansen. Gibson showing up well. He's after a new deal at Headingley next year. Certainly on the evidence that we have seen this season, Steve-O, worth a new contract, I think.
My word, he's jumping out of his skin at the moment. It was a good sidestepping run, but yet another deep kick from Andrew Farrell.
Oh, and Lawford got away with that. He tried to find Anthony Farrell, and he actually picked up his own pass himself. Now this is Richie Blackmore. Doing well, Leeds, to keep it going here.
Good work by the little halfback Lawford there. Just couldn't get the first pass away, but he got away to make sure he retrieved it.
That was forward
yeah.
From Newton to Hassan.
Tried to hang on too late, and you can see that Hassan has just taken a step forward. Well, a big opportunity gone begging there. Wigan defence cut to ribbons on either side.
Terry Newton put his hands to his head immediately that he released that ball. He knew that Stuart Cummings had blown the whistle for the forward pass. Now Horton standing out of the scrum, you notice, the second rower.
Just going to say, the standoff, Henry Paul was locking in. Andrew Farrell, the loose forward, he went into the second row. Obviously they were thinking of a move. Bring the big second rower Simon Horton in out wide.
Here's Cassidy. Cassidy, who has yet to miss a match in the Super League over the past 2 years. Same can be said for the captain Farrell, who's touching it now, and who then found Neil Cowie. But Cowie was in the way, really. The ball was going out wide to Connolly.
Well, I showed you before the game the ability of pushing the ball across the face of the dummy runner, and that's what it should have done there. But Cowie just got his hand to it. The gap was there. It's a ploy that Wigan use all the time. He just got his hand and lost control.
Collins to Hassan. Hassan gets away from Henry Paul, but doesn't get away from Hansen. Tony Smith was there as well in case he evaded the big man. Lawford and Harris with a quick interchange. That's a good ball from Blackmore to Gibson. Gibson
We knock on
to Rivette. Rivette couldn't take it in.
Well, good play. Sad that it had to come about with a knock-on because the fullback Damien Gibson came on the arc around the centre, Richard Blackmore. Good build-up by Leeds. That will build their confidence. But the winger Rivette just got his fingertips to it.
Now once again, Simon Horton is standing in the standoff role. Henry Paul is the man who is packing down. So that's obviously some little tactic from Eric Hughes. Is it designed to fool commentator Steve-O or to fool the opposition?
I can assure you that he's not interested in what you or I say. It's to fool the opposition. Not a bad idea, though, to have a strong man. It could be a bit of a problem with The standoff, Henry Paul.
Mind you, there might also be a little problem, Steve-o, with Simon Horton. He had his shoulder strapped heavily at Bradford.
This is the forward pass. Fullback Robinson just took a step in front of Farrell. No, I'm not so sure that the high shot proved that it was. He's not convinced. Man in the middle in charge. Well, there we see Horton going in now. Quick to get out too.
This now is Blackmore. Collins, the dummy half, 30 metres away from the Wigan line. Farrell, oh, he was stopped dead in his tracks then by a crunch tackle from Cowie. Here's Lawford, now Harris. Harris, well, looking over his shoulder, no support was there, but he gets them into the red zone, Leeds. Lawford again, good ball on the inside. Newton.
Well spotted though by Tony Smith. He was not going to be deceived by that. Read it all the way.
Lawford again, gives it to Harris. Now Anthony Farrell, holes opened up to Farrell. He took on the wrong man. He took on his namesake and came out second best. But this is Lawford. A ball bouncing off the chest again. Another Leeds chance goes begging.
Well, Hay thought he was the dummy runner. Lawford was running the angle. Well, Farrell made the break, and I got the impression, instead of going for the break, this is a pass from Lawford. It came off Harris in the end. It was meant for Hay. But I got the impression that the prop forward, Anthony Farrell, got through the break and then sidestepped into Farrell's tackle.
Yes, he did. If he'd have gone the other way, he might have been over the line. This is Connolly. Oh,
in from Newton, he went across the chest.
And it was legal.
And fair play there to Gary Connolly. Connolly knew it. He got up and said, let's play the ball. No antics. No Oscar winning antics there.
Gibson did well. The crowd screamed for a knock-on, but referee in touch judge say no. And that's the zero tackle, of course, for Leeds. And they're now over the halfway line with Hassan. They're gaining in confidence, Leeds. Only 4 down and 18 minutes of the match gone. In possession with Harris, who finds Rivett. And Rivett gives it straight to Radlinski. Rivett's pass, and he apologises immediately to Lawford.
Well, there was no chance that they could get there. Radlinski had done the right thing. He put himself in between the little halfback so that Lawford couldn't get it. He was more surprised than anybody out there. Radlinski says thank you very much.
Now Hansen. And Adrian Morley peels away from that tackle, clutching his face. I think a clash of heads then. This is Smith. Now Farrell running the angle. Horton steps through the challenge. Simon Horton, and scores a breathtaking try. They were running the angles then, Wigan. They mesmerised the Leeds defence. And Horton just simply picked up his knees and stepped through the despairing dive and made it to the line.
Beautiful switch of play. They go one way, Smith goes the other. Farrell across the angle. See how he just came through there. Lawford on this occasion went far too high. He pulled off 2 previous good tackles going low. On this occasion, he gets caught out. One way back on the inside. See how they use the dummy runner. He pulled the man out, and soon as the gap was there, it was a half-hearted tackle, and this man went all the way. Super play, Wigan at their best. Dummy runner, Horton out wide. Lawford couldn't get to him. He went far too high to begin with. Second attempt was feeble, especially on such a big man like this. How many tries has Simon Horton scored this season out wide? Loves nothing better than to run with the centres, and this is the reason why.
Well, his last try was against Canberra in the World Club Championship, but his last Super League try was against Paris Saint-Germain in July. It's 11 now for the season for Simon Horton. England international. Big game against the Bulls too on Monday, pressing now his claims for inclusion in the Great Britain squad to face Australia in November. And I'm sure that Farrell will be there. And he kicks the extra 2 points from the conversion. And Wigan now have a 10-point advantage.
They think they're going one way, but they switch the other way. Look at the defence there. Really, it should be out that way, and it wasn't. Lawford tried to get to him, but this man, so strong.
Wigan restart. Remember, in Super League, scoring team kicks off after a score. Oh, and he's dropped the ball. Was it stolen? It was stolen, says Stuart Cummings. The ball was pulled out in a two-man tackle, but Welsh international Neil Cowie is innocence personified.
Not on the replay, he isn't. Well, spotted by Stuart Cummings, of course, doesn't have the advantage of the replay like we do.
Lawford to Farrell. Up the middle goes Farrell, and he gets Leeds into the Wigan half of the field. Collins to Harris.
Leeds will ruin the fact that another mistake, that's a third one within as many minutes, when they were building up to apply the pressure. That should be a flop from Newton on the top of Connolly.
And it is, the referee's got him.
No, there might not have been any intent to put that forearm in.
Well, they're becoming their worst enemies to themselves for Leeds, and you could see there quite clearly that was stupid play by the loose forward Terry Newton.
And it was also the use of a forearm, which Stuart Cummings has given him the benefit of the doubt of. He said maybe there wasn't any intent, but he's penalised him anyway.
Either way, it's yet another error to add to the rising list on the Leeds side. Will not be pleasing their coach, Dean Bell.
Hansen with a strong run.
Bit of a facial by Newton, but it's obviously a flop.
Cowie. Anthony Farrell hangs on to him. He got the pass away to Clark. Clark is tackled by Wayne Collins. 6 Leeds handling errors, far too many. Farrell. Out the back it goes to Connolly. They grab him by the shirt, but they can't stop him yet, and Connolly keeps this movement going. Dean Bell, trouble times for the Leeds coach. Clark drops it. Well, the pressure goes.
Catching. Not the best pass there by Paul, to be fair to the hooker, John Clark. It was on its way down to start with, but scintillating play by Wigan.
And interesting, Steve-O, that it's Martin Hall who is now taking a back seat because John Clark is in the team, and Eric Hughes believes that Clark is certainly worth his place at the moment.
He's obviously looking towards the future, trying to get a settled outfit. It's been a problem for a lot of clubs this season.
Actually, if you watch Clark at dummy half, he's of the old Martin Dermott brigade, really. He gets the ball at dummy half and he immediately spins it away into the arms of a colleague.
And that's what they should need here at Wigan, when you've got the likes of Radlinski, Connolly, Robinson, Johnson, Ellison out there in the three-quarter line. No point in hanging around to play the ball area and making a cup of tea. Get it out.
Lawford with the kick under pressure. Not a bad kick, though, for all of that. And pity, it runs dead in goal for Dean Lawford.
Idea was there. Radlinski put him under a lot of pressure. Just got the kick that it needed if you're a Wigan fan.
Now this is Danny Ellison. Ellison, who got a hat-trick against St Helens in last year's Premiership final and has already got 7 tries in Super League, and he's hardly played, to be fair to him. So he's a proven try scorer. Farrell gets the ball away, but Leeds have got it back. Collins looping ball into the arms of Morley. Morley still wrestled to the ground though by Henry Paul. 0 tackle this.
Good hit though, moving in quickly, applied the pressure and spilled the football. Now can Leeds hang on to it? It's been a long time since they've gone through the set of 6.
Lawford and Harris on the run around. Hassan fed by Lawford, grounded by Connolly, 20 metres from the Wigan line. Gibson to Lawford.
Looking for runners, there was only one coming on the inside.
Farrell, Harris, Hay, all wrapped up by Radlinski. Not a bad attacker, Chris Radlinski, but a great defender as well. Harris now drops it under pressure from Farrell. Well, they seem to lose any initiative about 10 yards from the Wigan line.
Well, I don't know what's happened to Houston. Harris is looking to run across the face of the defence, which is a good idea if you've got eager men running different angles, but you could see there that he's just not getting any help from his players. They're making him look absolutely stupid out there.
Clark again, now Cassidy, back on the inside to Cowie. Cowie just bounces one defender field off him. The movement continues. That's good Harassing, though, by Phil Hassan. Farrell picks himself up.
That's the type of defence that they need badly, but you can see quite a few of the Leeds players, even on the last tackle, they were quite happy to stand back, anticipating the kick. If Wigan had reused the power play, they'd have been caught.
That was an elusive run from Damien Gibson. This now is Paul Sterling. What would Leeds give for a Paul Sterling special now in the 26th minute? Hay. Collins, Lawford, Harris, Sterling. Bit of space for him. And he almost got through, but well done, Connolly and Johnson. Lawford again. Showed it to Field, then took on Hansen and Clark. Came off second best. Fourth tackle. 26.5 minutes gone. Harris, another angled run. Showed it to Hay. Held on. Keeps the run going. Loses it.
Well, again, lose the ball. Leeds lose the opportunity to apply the pressure. Yet again, impossible chance there to get the ball away. The defender's arms was trapping him down.
Jason Robinson anxious to get on with it. Cowie at dummy half. Smith to Paul. Good tackle by Morley on Henry Paul. Wouldn't be swatted away. Hansen. Clark. Smith. Turned over and dumped on his back. Newton in there quickly. And Jamie Field. Farrell, lovely ball to Cassidy. Cassidy gets the pass away to Johnson. I'm not so sure it wasn't forward, but the referee is convinced it wasn't, so it's play on. And now the pass from Connolly is right out into touch.
Neat work down the blind side. Badly finished off at Farrell again. See how he just sucked in the hooker. Wayne Collins went across for him. And good work by Johnson. Well, the build-up from Wigan has been quite superb. It's desperation defence that's kept them out on many occasions, but I'm afraid Leeds coach Dean Bell will have plenty to say at half-time. They've got to work for each other.
That's a good run from Harris. Jinking run. He's taking on Robinson out wide. He's on his own, though, is Harris. He's been missed, and Harris had Lawford there, but obviously either didn't hear the call or didn't see him.
Well, there was only Lawford that followed him.
Here's Blackmore, now Lawford again, Morley, Cassidy shoots out the line to pick him up, gets it away though to Newton, Newton gives it to Sterling, Sterling on an angle run back on the inside, inevitably it's Farrell who gets the tackle in, they're 5 meters short of the line, here's Lawford, now Harris who began this move, he dabs the kick through, that's an awful kick, and Henry Paul picks up easily and feeds Ellison, and Ellison's off, he's being chased by Gibson, and Gibson gets back to him.
Quick play of the ball though, Leeds are in a lot of trouble. They're still piling back. There's only 2 players onside.
This is Radlinski. Still Radlinski. Paul was the call. Now Tony Smith. Blackmore gets to him and hauls Tony Smith down. 83 metres they made and just 1 tackle used. This is Henry Paul. Oh, what a great try. Fantastic work from Henry Paul, who in the latter stages of Super League 2 is back to his brilliant, breathtaking best. Kiwi international Henry Paul, the try when really Leeds could have been celebrating at the other end. Henry Paul hurts them.
Beautiful play. The build-up was superb, and this was equal to it. He's back. Henry Paul, the step, the guile. This is the run from Ellison. It was not the best kick from Euston Harris. Again, Leeds lived the opportunity, but they were so slow coming back. The result was this. Skill, the step, the body swerve, the balance is absolutely superb. Cowie knew exactly what he had to do. Look how he looks to one angle, knowing that his body will come back. The swerve again. Blackmore couldn't do anything about it. Neither could Gibson. Paul is in a confident mood. That spells danger for Leeds.
And that spells 60 tries now for Henry Paul for Wigan. Quite a milestone for Henry Paul. the New Zealand international. Got 20 points against Leeds here in the last winter season, January 1996. Well, he's got 8 here in the last match of the summer season of 97. Wigan are running hot. And Farrell now with the conversion attempt. Don't forget, of course, they've got the World Club Championship still to come. Hunter Mariner's due here. Farrell adds the extra 2. Hunter Mariner's due in October. Wigan also have designs on the Premiership again, and they have designs on 2 points here. They lead 16-0.
Well, the high shot will show you. Justin Harris yet again. Look how he makes the break. Let's just hold it there. He's made 30 metres. Look where the support is. It should be behind him. I said that they were making him look stupid, and they are yet again. They should have scored from that. Only Lawford got to him in the end. The rest just stopped.
So, Leeds with a lot to do now to come back. 16-0 and 8 minutes of this first half remaining. Newton has the ball for them. Neil Cowie has done a good job in the opening half hour. Holgate comes on to replace him. Well, it's ominous with the Premiership in mind, Steve-O, and Wigan have dominated that competition since '94.
Well, they're playing well, but the sad factor about it is that Leeds could have been a lot closer and well and truly in this game if they'd have taken their opportunities. They've made far too many mistakes. There must have been 5 passages of play where they failed to complete their set of 6. Didn't put one good kick in, and when they did, when Harris put the ball through to him, it was a bad one, straight to the man.
And they've made 8 handling errors to the 5 of Wigan. This is Hansen. Just over 7 minutes to the half-time siren. Farrell. The runner is Radlinski. He just pops the ball up for Ellison. Desperate Leeds defence again. Farrell dabbed the kick through. He's looking for Radlinski to chase this. Gibson's absolutely just got the finger to it first. Radlinski was hunting an opportunity.
Well, if the loose forward Andrew Farrell isn't the best forward in the world at present, my hair shall grow back tomorrow. He is just running the show. Blindside, switches of play, neat chips over the top. Good job that the fullback was equal to the task. Still only 22. What a footballing brain.
It's incredible to think he is only 22. All that he's achieved, Steve-O. He's approaching 1,000 points for Wigan now. And, of course, a seasoned international, and will be definitely one of the front line against the Aussies in November. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And the new Great Britain coach, of course, is yet to be named on Monday. But we'll do his job for him in that department, I think.
Well, he'll be the first man picked. Loose forward, no problem. Andrew Farrell, been outstanding. Man of Steel last season. Must be in the running this season too.
There he is again, Farrell. Oh, look at the strength of the man. Look at the enthusiasm of the man. And enjoy the try of the man. Andrew Farrell, captain courageous of Wigan, hit the ball at pace and just bounced through them.
I enjoy creating tries, but I don't mind scoring them either. Again, the switch of play. Again, the hesitation in the Leeds defence. Smith coming back on the inside. Knows that the captain's coming at great strength and speed. Nothing was going to stop him. Neat switch by Smith. The combination between Farrell and Smith has been outstanding in this second half of this season. They don't come much better than that guy.
7 tries and 6 have come in home games for Andrew Farrell. Well, he scores the tries, he kicks the goals, he dictates the pattern of play, he organises, he marshals, he's Eric Hughes' main man on the pitch. And Andrew Farrell now, from bang in front of the sticks, can add 2 more points here. Wigan have got a stranglehold on this match, and we're not yet at half-time. No problem. No problem at all. 2 more points for Farrell and 2 more for Wigan. 22-0.
On the top of the picture, you can see the defence moving up there, but look on the lower half of the defence, they hang back. As soon as they switch to play, they were always going to be in trouble. You cannot hang back and hope to stop this man with so much strength.
Well, Wigan have certainly got the bit between their teeth now. Double substitution by Dean Bell. Cantillon and Fleary, the two newcomers, come on for their debut. Cantillon, number 34, is a former Wigan Academy International hooker. And that was his first touch.
Well, it was going to be tough for Leeds without recognised prop forwards. And the way that Cowie and Hansen, John Clark, the hooker, are working in defence.
Welcome back to Central Park, Phil Cantillon. Took a quick tap.
Right, clear.
Well, he's thinking, Cantillon. That's Harris. Still Harris. Escapes the clutches. Support arrives from Gibson. Clattered, though, by Farrell.
There's the offence that went a little bit too high that gave him the chance. But again, Harris on his own made the break. And to be fair, Hassan was there in support. That's got to be a penalty.
Ball stolen. Two-man tackle, not allowed. One-on-one's okay. 2-on-1. No good.
See Horton deliberately going for that ball with Cassidy down low.
Well, here's a chance for Leeds, and they need a try, really, to give them some confidence back. Gibson once more.
Come on, fellas, put these penalties out, come on.
Harris. Leeds have had the better of things in the penalty count, haven't they? But they've certainly played second fiddle on the scoreboard. Newton plays it to Cantillon. He finds Lawford. Lawford to Blackmore. Good tackle by Radlinski. Have they kept the movement going? Leroy Rebetta's touched down. Stuart Cummins has not given it yet.
His foot was in touch. I don't think that Blackmore's foot went over before he released the football.
Well, it's going to be a decision for the video referee.
Everything else is fine.
I think you'll find that Radlinski drags him well and truly over before he loses it. The legs was definitely over, but did they touch the ground? Head on will show you. Yep. Just touch the whitewash and then he releases it. That's the reason we have it. No one can complain. There's the left foot in between Radlinski's legs. And that is the whitewash. That's sufficient.
Yeah,
no try.
That proves it conclusively. Well, that's our view anyway, but it's now down to the video ref to pass on his decision to the crowd. No try. In touch.
We're on a scrum 20, fellas. Scrum
So
20.
it's a scrum down.
Scrum 20.
And the head and feed will go to Wigan, of course.
Simon, don't panic, whatever happens, all right.
And this is the reason why we have the video and the video referee,
Hold up. Let him get it.
so that no one can complain. And I think when anyone from the lead side who watched that,
Right, clear.
they certainly can't complain.
Henry Paul's taken a bang. Got problems with the shoulder. As soon as and there's offside against Leeds. I say as soon as Paul took the tackle, it was obvious he was in some discomfort.
Go, fellas, time
And
it up now.
Henry Paul is still out and down, receiving treatment, the shoulder.
You see how the men moved off the mark before the ball was played. Well, it'll be a bitter blow. He's in fine form, Henry Paul. Back to his best.
Radlinski to Connolly. Connolly then to Ellison.
Having a fine game, Danny Ellison. Looking for work.
Tony Smith. Farrell. Coaxing the Leeds defence to him. Cassidy takes the tackle. Hansen. Oh. Takes 3 to bring him down. Henry Paul is now back in this attack. And there he is, Henry Paul.
Might have something wrong with the shoulder, but nothing wrong with the legs. Good support yet again.
Smith and Horton. Connolly, dummy half. Last tackle here for Wigan. Farrell hits the hopeful kick out wide, looking for the winger. Finds the winger, but only in blue. And that is Paul Sterling.
Took it well. One of Wigan players zoning down on him.
Just less than 20 seconds to go of this first half. First half that started quite promisingly for Leeds, but once we got past the 20-minute mark, Wigan really did take control. Rivette plays the ball to Fleary. He takes on Radlinski, dumps him to the ground, and that's the last action of this first half. Simon Horton then, one of the try scorers for Wigan. 4 tries, and Farrell got the last, and Farrell has also kicked 3 goals. 2 from Henry Paul, 1 from Simon Horton, 1 from Andy Farrell, and Leeds going into the dressing room to hear from their coach Dean Bell, and they have some work to do in the second 40 minutes. Outstanding first half from Wigan then. They lead by 22 points to 0, and Henry Paul having a wow of a game. Their pride. 40 minutes to go.
Okay, let's go.
Stuart Cummings blows the whistle. Justin Harris kicks the football. Wigan then have the first use of the ball in this second half. And didn't they make good use of the football in that first 40 minutes? 22 points without reply. This is Holgate. Had a difficult year, first year at Wigan, Stephen Holgate, but in the side that no doubt has designs on Old Trafford now. John Clark off, and Craig Murdoch, there he is. He has come on, and his pass finds Andrew Farrell.
That doesn't surprise me. Just blooding the young John Clark in and bring Craig Murdoch, who has played in that hooking role, remember, midway through this season.
Kick downfield. Oh, just finds touch the right side of the post. Great kick from Tony Smith.
When you're leading by 22 points to 0, no point in running the power play. Turn the Leeds defence all the way around, and he did that perfectly, Tony Smith. Good to see that they've got 2 good kickers out there.
It's amazing when you look at that scoreline of 22 points to 0 to remember that they lost their last home game here to Salford by 14 points to 21. It was their 3rd home defeat of the year. But now here's Terry Newton trying to inspire a Leeds fight back. Cantillon was the dummy half. He finds Harris, who in turn finds Rivette. Rivette on the halfway line. Cantillon scampers across again to go to dummy half. Field is the runner. They keep the ball alive and find Rivette again.
Pretty close to a forward pass, both of those, but they got away with it. Be interesting to see how Graham Holroyd fits in now.
Well, he turned the game, didn't he, against London when we last saw Leeds on Sky Sports. This, meanwhile, is Darren Fleary. Good tackle on him by Murdoch.
It's always been quite confusing to me why Dean Bell has continued to keep Graham Holroyd on the bench.
Great take by Robinson.
Sure was. See how he brought up the right knee, should I say, to protect himself. Doesn't matter where you apply this man, do you, Jason Robinson? He will always give you 100%.
Two and a half minutes of the second half gone. Murdoch dummy half. Here's Henry Paul. He finds Radlinski, but Radlinski was under pressure. How on earth he kept hold of that, I don't know, but he did.
Much better defence there. Cummings and Harris involved. I get the impression that Dean Bell would have given Leeds a real rollicking at half-time.
Farrell with a little dink over the top, and they allow it to bounce Leeds. They almost paid the big penalty then. Lawford, though, took control of the situation.
Well, you could see the sweeper Lawford was there, and also the fullback Damien Gibson. That's a high shot.
Lee Hansen pulled out by the referee.
A few
Sterling
words.
feels that.
A few words said to the man. 22-0. That's not the sort of thing that you would expect from the Wigan outfit. Early in the second half, they've lost a good position there, Wigan. That wouldn't please the coach, Eric Hughes. Pressure is off.
Harris deposits the penalty into touch. Justin Harris, of course, who made his Leeds bow against Wigan in April. This is Anthony Farrell. Murdoch and Andy Farrell doing the tackling. Cantillon dummy half. This now Jamie Field. Well, Leeds really could do with a try. Lift their spirits. Lift the spirits of their supporters too. Newton. This Wigan defence, though, is so strong.
See how quickly they're moving up off the mark. As soon as the ball is played, they really race forward in one straight line.
Here's Harris again. Now Morley. Last tackle for Leeds. Harris, Lawford, dabs the ball through. And Ellison picked it up bravely. Boots and knees flying round there, but Ellis did well. Now Robinson.
Awkward kick there, did well to go down on that.
Stephen Holgate. Sub in each of the last 8 matches, Stephen Holgate struggled really to establish himself in the first team. Lee Hansen, though, is withdrawn and Terry O'Connor comes on. This, meanwhile, is Simon Horton brushing and battering his way through the tackles, but Damien Gibson did well. Quick play the ball and Leeds will be stretched in defence as Wigan try and give it some width with Farrell. Little kick over the top, an invitation to Radulinski. Leroy Rivette, though, got there first.
Beautiful chip over the defence there by Andrew Farrell. Playing chicken over all the time. Good position, though, by Leroy Rivette. Anticipated the kick, but what a tremendous run there by Simon Horton. There's nothing better than running out wide. And the architect yet again, Andrew Farrell.
5th kick, 3 average. 6 minutes, second half gone. Cantillon. Never played for the Wigan first team, Phil Cantillon. It was a surprise to many people, actually, when he moved to Keighley. But now here he is back in the big time with Leeds. And Fleary's gone without the ball. As he was tackled by Simon Horton, he went and left it on the ground.
See the impact there, he lost control of it. Horton's weight just continue on with the tackle and just lost control. He respected, of course, if Horton had have interfered with him. It's allowed one-on-one. But this is the run from Horton. He's having a fine game. Again, they went far too high. Got to try to get the legs on the big fella.
Have to get the legs on the little fella too. Robinson, who gets the pass away to Andy Johnson. Began life as a back row forward, Johnson. Now he's a pretty deadly finisher on the wing with 12 tries so far this season. And talking of deadly finishers, that was Robinson, and this is Paul. Paul skipping away from tackles, but Blackmore gets to him, but not before he can release the pass to Ellison. And it's desperate Leeds defence from Cantillon to bring him down. Murdoch dummy half. The runner is O'Connor. Murdoch again. Angled run from Smith. Well, just a little bit too elaborate. Andy Farrell didn't quite read the script that time.
Another switch from the little halfback Tony Smith. Used Farrell as the second runner. They used the first one as a dummy. You see Horton coming through, but it wasn't the best pass. It's a little bit too smart. Didn't come off. It's been a highlight so far of the Wigan attack, is the ability to change the angle of the play.
Harris through 2 dummies then. Radlinski's after him. Radlinski gets to him. Cummings is the man who goes in at dummy half. Second half change by Dean Bell. He finds Lawford. Lawford misses out too. On the burst was Morley, but he was well picked up by Farrell again.
Horton caught a knock there. Interference, not coming back to 10. And there you see Andy Farrell. Well, he's only 22, but he's got all the experience. Didn't get away with it on that occasion. Must clear the ruck area. He didn't.
That's one. Leave.
Jamie Field on the first tackle then. Leeds 8 metres short of the line with Farrell. Dumped to the ground by Holgate and Cassidy. A combination tackle. Lawford, Harris. Fires the pass to Gibson, who hangs on and does well, but Radlinski cleans him out with the tackle. Rivette was the dummy half. Now it's Morley. Morley, a real roughhouse, and he took on O'Connor, and Cassidy came off second best. Lawford again, pops the ball up for Morley, and great defence. It was Jamie Field, I beg your pardon. This is Lawford. High hanging kick. Sterling's after it. But who got it? Jason Robinson. That's who.
Well, Ellison was going to go for it. I think he called for it. Robinson, get out of the way. It's mine. Either way, defused the bomb. This will be on the quarter line. Oh, what a fine game he's had, Jason Robinson. Got a knock on the bombs. And he was so determined running for that.
Now O'Connor. Be relieved to be back in the side. Mr. Winnett, Oldham and Bradford. 100 appearances for Wigan. His 100th appearance, by the way, coming against his former club Salford in the defeat in the last home game.
Wigan quite happy just to grind out the metres forward with the forwards and then use the skill of Farrell. Out wide again.
Connolly through a gap. Smith's calling for the ball on the inside. The pass came in and only into the arms of Sterling.
Did well, Sterling, then. See how we put him well and truly in front of Danny Ellison, who came in off the wing. That was fine play. Beautiful pass out wide by Farrell, though, that sent the big centre Gary Connolly racing through the gap. Every time Farrell gets a football, the Leeds defence just sort of look and hesitate and say, what is he going to produce now? Who knows? So skillful.
Harris dumps the ball back. This is Anthony Farrell. One-handed, he gets the ball away to Gibson, ever willing in support, Damien Gibson.
Well, at least the support play was there. Half break from Farrell, who's worked hard.
The kick is from Harris. Oh, that's touched Jason Robinson. He must run it out if he can. Well, you ask Robinson to produce the goods, and he does. Time and time again.
It was a tremendous kick, but I'm afraid the chase wasn't up to it. They allowed Robinson all the time in the world to come out. They cannot afford to do that. We all know the skills that he possesses, especially the step and the speed off the mark. Got to shut him down.
154 metres per match. That's his average throughout this season. Can be more, can be less, but generally that's how much ground he makes. Horton must make a few metres too, you know. Lovely hands, Farrell to Smith.
Well spotted though by Morley. He knew the inside pass was coming from the big loose forward. Smith knew it too. He had a little bit of a look there.
And this is O'Connor.
Got a bit of a flying arm there in his face. O'Connor, he'll go looking for someone. He is. He knows who it is.
High kick from Farrell. Radlinski's after this. Gibson, no. Stood firm as a rock.
Tremendous take. Well, if he's playing for a contract, he's certainly playing well enough to obtain one. Really come alive late in this season, Damien Gibson.
Yes, formerly with the North Queensland Cowboys. Well, Wigan looked as though they were finished as far as a possible top four was concerned when they lost here against Salford, but the win at Odsal on Monday turned things round for them. And this victory, if victory it be against their famous old enemies from Leeds, will secure their place in the top four.
Well, it's important that Leeds do have a very good showing in the second half. Quick try here, they've plenty of time to get back in this game. But more importantly, if they do lose tonight, Leeds, then they'll probably finish fifth, won't they? So they play Oldham. If they beat Oldham, they'll be back here in the quarter-finals. So it is important for Leeds, all the players and their coach Dean Bell, that they put up a great effort in this second half.
Henry, get out there quicker.
Good pressure there on Newton. That's why the kick wasn't all that good.
This is Murdoch and Paul. Well, one visitor to Central Park tonight will be a player here this time next year, Dennis Betts. Oh, we'll go to him in a moment because Connolly's on the break, Connolly's on the burst, and spread. But Connolly has got 4 points. Wigan increase the lead.
Amazing play by the big fella, Gary Connolly. Throughout this season, he's just shut out the pain, playing with a bad problem in his knee, and he just pushes himself there. It's a beautiful dummy. Roll the ball across his chest. See the switch of play yet again. Watch how he rolls it. They just went straight across, failed to fill in. Well, it's been a decent effort from Leeds so far, but they're looking a little bit tired now. It was tiredness, switch of play, watch it. See how they're hanging back when really they should have been moving forward, applying the pressure. It's only a split-second difference, but that's all this man needs. Crowd going to raptures, and why not? Gary Connolly, superb athlete. As I mentioned, gone through the pain barrier this season. Great try.
And he loves playing for Wigan. Tries in 3 of the last 4 against Leeds at Central Park prior to tonight. And Andrew Farrell adds the extras. 28 points to 0.
See the defence, how it holds back. What it should be is going forward, and it's not. Beautiful dummy.
All class, isn't he? And that clean break produced the try. Right, let's go downstairs. We can now talk to Dennis Betts. Travelled a long way to be here, hasn't he? He's with Alistair.
Well, Dennis, let's hope we're not interrupted this time, or maybe let's hope we are. Obviously, you must be impressed with the way your future team are performing this evening.
Yeah, we're going to have got a lot of class. They've got a lot of players that can open a game up really well, and at the moment, like Andrew Farrell's playing very, very well with the ball in his hands, and they've got some dynamic players in Jason Robertson and Gary Connolly. Well, apparently they're on a little bit of a roll. They beat Bradford, came back and won easily against Bradford last week, and it looks like Leeds are carrying a couple of young players in their side that don't really know what kind of defensive pattern they're playing, and there's holes all over the place, especially on the inside.
About yourself, in the nicest possible way, what are you doing here?
I'm just on a little bit of a holiday at the moment. It's 5 weeks before we play in the World Cup Challenge, and Frank Endicott gave me 2 weeks or so. I thought I'd come home and see the family.
Obviously, while you're over here, you'll be taking a look on the way things are shaping up. You must be optimistic for next season.
Wigan have probably on paper got one of the best sides, if not the best side in the Super League. If we can start putting it together at the end of this year and hopefully next year, then I can't see why they shouldn't be the force that they were.
And Auckland Warriors, are they set for an assault on going all the way? The final, of course, in Auckland of the World Club Championship.
Well, it's pointless being in it if you don't think you can win it.
You're confident?
Well, like I say, if you don't think you can win it, it's no point being in it.
Clearly, with you being near the bottom end of the table, there's that nothing to actually write home about. Do you think that's just something to ignore when it comes into the championship itself?
Well, I think it shows that way. Yeah, we won our last 2 games and end up finishing the league equal 6. So it shows how close the league was, and our league form didn't really reflect what a good side we are actually.
All the best to you. We'll see you hopefully next season in the Super League.
Definitely.
Well, the form in the Telstra Cup mightn't have actually mirrored their form, Auckland Warriors, but my word, in the World Club Championship it did. They are a formidable side, and they face the Bradford Bulls, don't they, in the quarter-final?
Yes, it'll be interesting to see whether the layoff for 5 weeks
the holidays
will be an advantage or a disadvantage. Either way, it will be very interesting. But Bradford, I can assure you, will have to be in top form to go anywhere near.
I wonder if they'll issue some party invitations to Mr. Betts over the next couple of weeks. Good ball out wide from Farrell again. Oh, he's in. Ellison. He had 2 men hanging on to him, and he still managed to snake out the arm and put the ball over the line. Danny Ellison, try number 8 of Super League 97. Tremendous strength from Ellison. Great ball out wide, though, from Andy Farrell again.
Yet again, the architect alludes forward, Andrew Farrell. Paul fed it out, didn't even bother taking the step forward. Look how he just turned his body on the inside. It was that split second yet again. He didn't take it cleanly, but full credit to Ellison. With 2 in attendance, he had the strength to get it in. They really should have stopped it, but watch how Farrell see how he just turned his body on the inside. Juggling act, but this is all strength. That is a fine effort. You've got a fine game, Danny Ellison, but you've got to marvel at this. See how Smith was coming back, anticipate him as the dummy runner. They work for each other so well.
Well, Danny Ellison, he grabbed a hat-trick in the win at Oldham last Friday night. 3 tries against the Saints in last year's Premiership final. 8 tries now in Super League 97. And a season that really has been stop-start for him. Nothing stop-start about this fellow. 4 out of 5 from Farrell. This is most difficult kick of the night. Just pushes it in front of the posts. 4 out of 6 then for Farrell. 32-0 Wigan.
You see the body language there. There's Smith Harrod coming back on the inside. He just turns, does Farrell. Hesitate. That's all it takes. Even with the fact that he had to juggle with a football. This is a fine effort from Ellison. He's had a big match. But none bigger than that loose forward Andrew Farrell. He's running the show.
Well, a great end to their Super League season for Wigan. It maintains this wonderful record. Dean Bell figured in great sides here at Central Park, never out of the top 4. And Eric Hughes has guided another Wigan team to the top 4. They have not been out of the top 4, and how is this for a model of consistency since 1983-84? A truly, Steve-O, incredible record.
Outstanding team. Of course, a few years ago you would have said an outstanding club, but I'm afraid you got to point the finger at certain areas of this club at the moment, but I'm sure they'll sort all that out eventually. Let's hope they do. But on the field of play,
this is Gibson and Radlinski coming back to haul him down. Well, they might be 32-0 up, but they don't want Leeds to score. Holroyd and Newton, and that's been the tale of Leeds' sorry night. The ball back on the inside and players putting the football to ground.
Trying again, Holroyd there. Newton couldn't take it. You could see that, talk about putting a man in your face, it was Tony Smith there. You could see Newton just took a little glance.
And 2, clear, come on, Terry.
Plenty of candidates out there for your man of the match. We're inviting your calls now. 0891 66 55 25. The video games console, of course, is the carrot we're dangling to encourage you to pick up that phone. Andrew Farrell leaves the stage. He has masterminded this victory for Wigan, and victory it must surely be now. Leaves it to the rest. Looks like he maybe has taken a bit of a knock, but Paul Johnson comes on to take his place. Dr. Zaman, the club doctor here at Central Park, having a word with the skipper. Just checking on his condition. Obviously a problem.
Bit of a strain to the top of the neck, perhaps. They've gone into a tackle just a little bit awkward. But the magician has been taken from the field. Now then, they've got a few more tricks up their sleeve in the likes of Jason Robinson and Henry Paul and Tony Smith. Don't go away.
Yes,
more to come.
Indeed. Who will pick up the magician's wand now then? Well, Leeds need someone to wave the magic wand over them. This is Fleary. Strong run from Fleary. A little Lawford, but how about that for a tackle from Cassidy?
He's worked hard as Lawford, but he really has come up against it. So has this fella, but out of position. Taking a man out before he gone back the required 10 metres. Should not have interfered. Anthony Farrell playing for the first time in his career that we can remember that prop forward. It has been a problem for Leeds in this game. The Wigan defence, the switches of play in and around the play of the ball really has exposed that area.
Now Holroyd tries to straighten it up. Henry Paul stands firm as a rock, finished off by Stephen Holgate. Now Morley. Credit Morley, he's keeping going right the way to the final whistle. You would expect nothing else really from Super League professionals. Lawford, now Harris again. Harris releases the pass. Cummins. O'Connor with the tackle. Lawford again. Anthony Farrell. prop forward tonight, wing, centre, second row, loose forward, he can play anywhere. Harris into the arms then of Morley. Desperate scrambling defence from Wigan, even though it's 32-0. They want to keep that scoreline blank if they can. This is the last one. Lawford to Holroyd, out wide it goes. Chances for him, he gets the try. Paul Johnson got to it, but didn't have the strength to hold him up. And Leroy Rivett comes up with the 4 points for Leeds. Only his third of 1997, Rivett.
Good play, they deserved this. They kept the ball alive. Switches of play again, long ball out wide. You can see how Holroyd just straightened up the defence before he let the ball out wide to the winger. Rivett finished it well. See how he just hesitate there as he held on to that football, made the defence think twice, see clearly from the high shot. Notice how they just hesitating to hang away. It was Connolly, and it was enough to get the ball away, and it was well finished off by Rivett. Combination, Lawford, Holroyd. Nice finish. Some consolation, he'll remember that.
Try against St Helens on Monday, and the try against the Adelaide Rams down under when they lost by 34 points to 8. So a similar situation as Leeds are facing tonight. Harris's first attempt at a conversion lands on the 10-metre line. 32 points to 4. Leeds at least on the board.
There you see the centre going out towards him, and then he hesitates at the last minute, expecting Holroyd perhaps to come back on the inside. It was sufficient to get the winger out wide. Nice finish.
Shallow kick-off, Leeds have got the ball back. More inventive play. And there's Cantillon, and Cantillon's going to pinch one. No, he isn't. What a great tackle by Radlinski.
Good thinking though by Cantillon.
Chances here for Fleary. Held up over the line. It'll be head and feet at the scrum to Leeds. But it was inventive play from the kick-off, and Cantillon carried it on. He almost caught them cold.
He was just about to think to go for the second effort. Radlinski's tackle was beautiful, and he thought, hang on, my ball-carrying arm has just hit the deck. Split second thinking there, but Cantillon was up to it.
So this is Leeds' best spell of the match. Cummins. Connolly and Johnson getting to him. Rivett, the try scorer.
Well, I mentioned it was important for Leeds to really build their confidence, because the chances of coming back to the quarter-final are pretty high.
Newton, 3 tackles gone, they've gone back 7 metres. They will now attack again down that right-hand side. Lawford, tackled by Holgate. Anthony Farrell keeps the movement going. Murdoch gets to him, he releases the pass under pressure, and Cassidy.
Well, at least Leeds are trying to be adventurous, keeping the ball alive. At 32-4, they realise that the vital 4th spot is gone. And you can't blame them for at least trying something a little bit unusual.
We are now assuming that St Helens beat Paris on Sunday.
Do you want to have a bet?
No.
When it comes to money, you go very quiet.
Absolutely. But not as silent as your good self.
You've never seen my wallet. Never will.
That's what I mean.
Nice kick again on the blind side. Well, a bit of a poser now for the coach Eric Hughes, because Murdoch has come out off the bench, shown some fine touches. We've said it all along, haven't we, throughout this season, that the coaches don't just use the 13 players. It's so important when to use the substitutes. And full credit to Eric Hughes. It's not just the fashion that they've won tonight and scored so many tries, but it's the way that they've created the gaps and worked hard for each other. Must be pleasing for him.
Steve, or is it me, or are Leeds a different kettle of fish whenever Graham Holroyd enters the arena?
Well, he always looked that way to me, and that's why I said it, that it surprises me that he does not start the game.
This is Blackmore. Releases the pass, the ball-carrying arm wasn't grounded. Harris's is. keeping the ball alive well. Johnson all wrapping up though, Anthony Farrell.
Pretty well, didn't he, substitute Johnson. Paul Johnson knew the ball was coming out wide. Good pass though by Lawford, he's worked hard.
And Newton carries the battle back to the Wigan defence. That's the last tackle for Leeds though. Cantillon at dummy half. Lawford. Smith is chasing, here's Holroyd. Out the back it goes, it's the last tackle, and Newton with the kick. And onside is Leroy Rivette, but the kick finds touch.
Just picked up an injury in that previous tackle there, Newton. He finds himself with an enviable job of booting the ball downfield. Turned out a good one in the end.
Yes, Newton's worked hard. Stephen Holgate is withdrawn by Wigan. And Neil Cowie returns for the last 10.5 minutes or thereabouts.
Well, will we see a special from Wigan deep within their own quarter? At 32-4, you can risk your arm. Maybe the chip over the top. That's Leeds without a sweeper. Early part of the tackle count.
Yes, there is certainly a vast contrast out there when you consider that Eric Hughes has got Terry O'Connor on the bench and Stephen Holgate and two first-choice forwards, Hanson and Cowie at prop. And poor old Leeds, they've got two players really playing out of position at prop forwards and not much in terms of reinforcements to come on from the bench.
Well, it's very difficult for back row forwards to play up front.
Here's Henry Paul again. Henry Paul just stutters and then dabs the ball over the top. Rivette did well though.
Did he ever?
That's almost a voluntary tackle. Just fell on the ball and waited for Connolly to come in, and Connolly didn't come anywhere near him.
Well, it's as though Rivette said to Connolly, go on. Well, this was a neat little kick, but you could see that Rivette was never going to be. That was a voluntary tackle, and you could see he touched him and said, touch me please. If you won't, I will. Still at 32-4, I suppose the crowd would be a bit pinicky on the referee Stuart Cummings for awarding a penalty to Wigan in that position.
I doubt it, we're at Central Park, you know. Harris. That's a great turn of speed from Harris.
Nobody there again.
He's on his own. Well, the support arrives from Lawford, and Lawford then puts the ball down. And really, in the last couple of seconds there, that has been symptomatic of Leeds' night.
Well, how many times has this guy created something, made the half break and the break? He's looking, and there's nobody there. I'm sorry, Euston. And they came far too late. And when they did, they make a real meal of it.
He's had to wait a long time for his chance, Dean Lawford. He was sub at St Helens on Monday, his first appearance for 4 months, and this tonight is his first start since the win in Paris on March the 21st. But he will take heart from this season in that he's led the reserve grade side to their championship this year.
Well, we've given heaps of praise to the players and the coach, Eric Hughes, here at Wigan. But I have a slight suspicion that Eric Hughes will be working a little bit harder on defensive patterns. There's been quite a few occasions where Leeds have broken through, which is normally solid defence.
Wigan now on the halfway line with Tony Smith. Connolly dummy half. Murdoch thumps the ball through, just turns Leeds round, finds touch, eats up the clock a little more.
Nice play again, put himself on the blind side. Put on a lot of pressure by Andy Hay. Neat kicking game. Versatility is what it's all about these days. Halfbacks going to hooker. Not that you have to strike for the football. You only have to look at their baby faces to see that no longer is there some action now deep inside the scrum.
Will you be quiet a minute while I ask people to ring in and vote for the man of the match? 0891 66 55 25. Okay, off you go again.
No, I'm sulking.
I'm just wondering, Steve-o, if you actually have graduated to be able to use the telephone these days. You know what to do with it? I mean, I know you know how to use mine, but...
It costs money, doesn't it?
Yes, do you use your own ever? 6.5 minutes to go.
Oh, dearie me. Well, he deserves more than that for his effort that lad's put in today. Justin Harris, the run around was on.
He's never beaten Wigan, and he's not going to beat them tonight. And handling errors 4 he's made, and his clean breaks 4 as well. But it'll be the handling errors that he will want to work on more in training this week. Eliminate them from his game.
Big problem for Dean Bell, the coach, is the amount of times they fail. Oh.
Smith making easy meters before he's collared by Morley.
I was about to say the amount of times that Leeds have failed to play out their complement of 6.
Big, strong drop forward. Terry O'Connor just manages to stay in the field of play. 2 tackles gone. This is little Craig Murdoch. Wigan setting up for something here with Paul at dummy half. Now Robinson. Connolly. Out wide it goes. Oh, Radlinski should have let it go.
He blew it.
He didn't hear the call from Ellison out wide.
It's a knock on. There's no point in carrying out wide. Well, it were 2 great passes straight from the play of the ball area. And the chance went begging. Too many cooks spoiling the broth. Out wide there. And Radlinski says, I'm awfully sorry.
Yeah, Johnson
to the
would
winger
have scored.
Johnson.
He would have scored.
Hang on, hold it,
Well.
Back on,
All that way. Andrew Johnson had come all the way from the right wing to join his partner on the left wing.
Well, Wigan next week will have the weekend off because they finish in the top 4. The top 4 abide through to the quarter-finals of the Premiership, and Leeds, they will now finish 5th, and they have to play on next week. They don't get the rest, but Wigan will, and they will be delighted about that. But on Sunday, we bring down the curtain on Super League 2 with runners-up London against the champions Bradford. 2 great sides this year who have lit the scene up, and I'm sure we can expect a classic on Sunday. 6:30, Sky Sports 1. Don't miss it.
Good work again by Justin Harris and Graham Holroyd. Surely Dean Bell has to look at bringing the combination out earlier rather than leaving it later.
This is Jamie Field. They keep the movement going. Collins is there, but wrapped up by Cowie. Ball spills. It was 1-on-1. It's all right anyway. Play on. Connolly. He feeds the ball this way to Johnson. That's Paul Johnson, the sub. Connolly at dummy half. Here's Cowie. Cowie flicks the ball out the back door. Robinson picks the pieces up, but then has to take the tackle from Leroy Rivette. Cowie has another go. Gives it then to Horton. Leroy Rivette again with the tackle. And Cowie now is the dummy half. O'Connor.
Leave it. Well done, Richie. Well done.
Craig Murdoch. Cowie now takes it up. First receiver. Hand in the face of Andy Hay. Last tackle. Just over the halfway line. Wearily, the prop forward gets to his feet. Smith. That touched Collins. Holroyd running from deep. Good tackle from Andy Johnson though. Oh, Holroyd juggling. Johnson again gets the tackle in. Cantillon. Lawford back to Collins, but he went without the ball again. Lost count of the number of times that's happened.
Yet another mistake. The idea was there. You could see that Paul was right in the face of the Australian, Wayne Collins. Been a bit of a nightmare for Leeds with the makeshift pack.
And handling errors like that. Twice as many as Wigan, 16. And that really is the part of the game that Dean Bell will look at, I think, on the training field this week. And you'll have to hone their skills a bit more for the Premiership.
Beautiful play there by Gorry Connolly. It looked as though he made it look as though the referee had actually stopped the play. He mouthed something, they all stood and watched, and off he went.
He probably said, my name's Gary. And not Gorry.
Bit of a swinging high one there, and Stuart Cummings will say Calm it down, fellas. Less than 2 minutes to go. Cowie would have felt it. Morley did not miss. Silly play there by the second row. All right, Gary, you happy now?
No, you're in one of those moods tonight, I can see.
So are Wigan.
They are, and here's O'Connor! O'Connor just held short. Murdoch. Cowie! Cowie got one against Bradford. He wants one against Leeds, but the Leeds defence stands firm. Murdoch. Henry Paul had the confidence to wait for that while it bounced in front of him, finds Terry O'Connor. Into the last minute. Wigan are in the top 4 again, and they're trying to end with a flourish. This is Robinson. Connolly was the dummy runner. This is Andy Johnson. Andy Johnson gets the try. It was a beautiful run from Gary Connolly that deceived the Leeds defence, and Andy Johnson virtually had a clear run to the line for his 13th try of 97.
Once again, running off the ball. Unselfish play. Notice how Robinson uses Connolly as the dummy, suck the 2 Leeds defenders in. It's all the skills this fella Andy Johnson. But it really has been the highlight of this game, is the way that Wigan have created the space for each other. The running off the football has been superb. The result is yet another try. Watch for Connolly. Robinson uses him well. Little dummy there, out the back. 2 Leeds players go for Connolly. Johnson does the rest. Nice finish to a nice game.
And not a bad effort from a converted second row forward, Andy Johnson. 13 tries from the wing. Henry Paul now. He's kicked a couple in Super League this year. He might make it 3 from this angle. Henry Paul adds 2 more points to the Wigan total. 38 points to 4. It's a convincing victory. And Steve-O, I must say, there has been a lot of politicking going on at this club during the course of this season. And it's about time the people of Wigan got out and supported this team, because they are a fine side now.
If they play like this, they will come back in their thousands. And they are on their way, I am sure, to Old Trafford yet again. They want to prove a point.
Their stars have twinkled. Men like Robinson and Cowie. Connolly, Farrell, obviously, before he left the field. Henry Paul, tremendous effort. And let's not forget Simon Horton, who grabbed the second of Wigan's tries in that first half. Great effort from Wigan then. They maintain this 13-year run of theirs of completing a season with a place no lower than 4th, and they will now take the week off next week and then pick up the cudgels for the assault on Old Trafford the week after next. Convincing win from the Warriors. Still to come tonight on to 4. Attendance, though, only 8,500 here, and really the people of Wigan have got to get out to support this team now. All the politics are, and should be, a thing of the past. Andy Farrell, with 14% of the vote, is a contender for man of the match. So is Connolly, but it's Henry Paul who wins your vote. 28% of the vote he gets, and he is now talking to Alistair Mann.
Henry Paul, you've been named the man of the match by our viewers. You win a video games console. Just to say, tonight, I suppose, this was you for the top 4, and you really wanted it badly, didn't you?
Yeah, like we spoke before, that record, I think 13 straight years that Wigan haven't been out top 4. Before the match, I didn't say that it played on my mind, but it did. Nerves were there before the game, and thank you very much. You know, we had a good crowd, and the rest of the boys played really well. So, you know.
One good thing is, of course, by getting to the top 4, you give yourself a bit of a breather. That must be welcome.
Oh, mate, it couldn't come soon enough. It's going to be like a sort of a holiday, you know, because the guys have been playing too much rugby. I think, you know, there's all these games. I know it's hard on Leeds, and it's hard on us, and it's hard on all the teams really in the top 4. Good effort, but it's a long way to go yet.
All the best for the